We're going to talk about why it is that you may possibly be an overgiver in your relationships and the disadvantage to you as well as your partner. So, why would you be an overgiver? Why are you the person that is constantly saying to everybody that you know, I don't know why women don't date me or why they keep dumping me. I get into relationships and I give 110%. I give my all. I self-sacrifice. I give up my time for theirs. I drop all the things that I'm interested in to be with them. And I, look after, I hear all their problems and stuff like that. And yet these women don't want to stay with me. I don't understand. I don't know what's going on. And I used to be the same way. Back in my college days, at the point where I started to realize that there were women out there that did like me and actually would probably date me, I was the guy that once I found that out, I was already all in. And I was willing to give up everything in terms of my money. I'd be willing to pay for women's dinners and buy them presents and gifts. And I wrote a whole book. I wrote my book, No Girls For You, The Ultimate Guide to Losing the Girl of Your Dreams, in part because I wanted to really detail to myself all the things that I was doing wrong to try to get women, so I would stop doing those things. And as I wrote the book, what I realized was that a big part of that was that I was really overgiving of my money, of my energy, of my time. And I had to really stop and think, why am I doing this? Why is it that I am constantly willing to give so much of myself? And then the women that I'm dating, when they do want to give to me, I'm rejecting it, thinking, no. I'm being the nice guy. I'm just giving out of the goodness of my heart. But I really had to sit and think, why is it that I'm doing that so much when I'm seeing the women that I want leave me and then go after guys that aren't giving nearly as much? In fact, some of them are saying, hey, outside of us doing some physical stuff, I need a lot of my time to myself, so get the heck away from me. Or I'm spending time with other girls beside you, so we're not spending time together, get the heck away from me. And I'm like, these guys are so rude, but they're getting all the girls that I want. What's going on? And what I realized is that overgiving in relationships comes from fear. It is a fear that a person is not going to stay around unless we're able to constantly give to them in some way. It's almost like emotional bribery, because the other person that you're trying to date isn't necessarily asking of you all this stuff. I think as guys, sometimes we put on ourselves, man, we're dating and I gotta give her all this stuff and pay for all these things, this and that. And that part of that's because we're action people and we show our love best through actions, whereas women typically, they do their own versions of actions. Let's not say that they don't, because they definitely do. But if you notice, they're a lot more verbal. When they really like a guy, they're saying, hey, I really care about you. How's your day going? I really appreciate you, yada, yada, yada. And so they typically tend to be a bit more verbal. And I know sometimes as guys, that can honestly get on our nerves. Okay, they're saying a lot, but they're not doing. We're looking for them to do stuff. And I think as we're waiting for that to happen, because women will eventually start doing more, but they typically have a little bit longer of a time before they want to do that. This is why I tell you guys, on average, it takes women 2 to 3 months to solidify their feelings, because they need that time to really assess you. But at the point where they've assessed you and decide that you are the one, they will start then also doing their own actions that show that they really, really want you to choose them and they want to be in your life. But we're already making assessments after 2 or 3 dates saying, I already like them. I had 6 hours of good times with them. I already know I want them to be my girlfriend. And then we start overgiving after the 3rd or 4th date, which makes them feel like we're being needy, we're being desperate and obsessive. But really, we're thinking in our heads, well, I don't want her to leave. And God forbid I don't show her that I like her, because then how else is she going to know unless I'm doing for her? I got to be doing all the time. And since we're doers, all we know how to do is do. But we're doing that partially out of fear, because we fear that if we stop doing, they're going to lose interest. Think about this. How many times have you either thought to yourself or heard another guy say to himself about texting, for example? How often do I need to text her? If I don't text her, is another guy going to jump in the middle and suddenly she's going to be attracted to that guy? So how often do I need to text her so that won't happen? These are all fear-based questions. And again, it all comes back to, we fear that if we don't do, we're not going to keep her, okay? But I wrote down a list of, now that you know why it is you're overgiving, I want to really talk to you about the detriment that could have to a woman's budding interest in you. Because in the beginning, I know you're thinking that you got to try to call the woman every day, you got to try to get her on a date every single day, but recognize that women aren't expecting that. So I want to get that into your head, that women are not expecting you to want to see them every day, to call them every day, to ask their time every day. Because a woman that has interest in you also wants to think, but he's probably got a life outside of me. He's probably busy. If anything, I need to be probably hitting him up more because I don't want him to be distracted with all the other stuff he's doing during his busy time, okay? Women want to feel that, and women appreciate that more because when you're not all up under them, it gives them time to really analyze who you are and think about you in a way to where they're going to probably reach out to you a lot more than anticipated, but you have to wait for them to do that. You can't be the one to jump in and do that. So I'm going to show you a few reasons why it's actually a disadvantage to overgive, okay? So for one, it's a disadvantage because when you do that, you're essentially living in your feminine energy. Now, I know that the idea of fear being equated to feminine energy is probably not the fairest comparison. That's the one that I wrote down. That's the one that I have right now. And that's debatable. But what I want to say is this, is that women are looking at you and your actions. And if the feeling that they get from your actions is that you're doing a thing because you're doing everything you can to try to keep them because you're afraid they're going to go away, that is an energy to them that is more feminine because amongst women, anxiousness and uncertainty is a regular fear. Like women with each other on a day-to-day basis when they're talking to each other are expressing feelings and uncertainties about things and doubts and unsureness. And the thing is, they're looking for their men to be able to provide a level of certainty, to be that rock that they can lean against when things are going bad, and to have the confidence that you two are going to be able to work things out and work together to get out of those fears and stuff like that. And so when you come along and doing these actions that are indicative of being fearful, that now makes her the rock. And it's sorry to say it's true, even in the 21st century, most women don't want to be the strong one or the rock in the relationship. Like of the two of you, she's looking at if there's some fear going around, I need to be able to look to my man to lean on him because I want to look at him to see how he's responding, to see how he's reacting so I know that everything's okay or if I really need to panic. If you're constantly doing things that indicate that you're panicked or fearful about this relationship not working out, you become an untrustworthy source for her to be able to lean on, and therefore she's probably not going to stay around. That's the first thing. The second reason that it's a disadvantage is because when you are overgiving, women may start to feel like they will never be able to catch up to your giving. And I know this because I know back in the day, I was so giving to where I'd already be thinking in advance about what a woman's needs were and what I could do for her. And I would just do and do and do and do. Well, women by nature want to actually give. They actually want to be able to see how they can support you in the relationship and do things for you to brighten your day and to make things easier on you. But the problem is this, is that if you are overgiving, what it's going to make her feel like is that any kind of giving she does isn't going to be able to match the level at which you're giving to her. And that can make it feel like it's off balance. It can make her start to feel like no matter what she does for you, it's not going to ever be enough. And when women start to feel that, they can start to think, well, what is the point then of trying to give to this guy if no matter what I do, he's going to just give more and more and more and more, to where is my contribution even worth something to him in the first place? Okay, so this is not to say that you need to stop giving altogether, but this is why it's really good to kind of early on in the dating process match up with the level of intensity of giving that she's giving. So you're already going to be, think about this, you're already going to be asking her on dates. You're already going to be paying for those dates. You're going to be planning these things to see her and do things, okay? That's already to a woman more than enough of you giving to her early on, because you're just doing those things. Most guys are looking for her to plan a date and try to figure out where they want to go and ask them, what do you want to do, honey, and all this stuff. And women hate that. So just you doing those things, you're already doing a big portion of the dating part that she doesn't want to do, which allows her to then rest in her feminine, allows her to look pretty for you, and allows her time to think, wow, he's doing so much already. How can I get back to him? But you're not giving so much that she's thinking, he's giving so much, I don't know what I could give to him that's going to equal what he's done for me. Oh my God, I'm out of my element here. All right. So think about that. Another thing, when you are overgiving, you could potentially end up smothering a woman. And again, it's not that women don't like to be given to, but they don't want to feel like you're doing so much, A, that they can't catch up, but also that it goes from like being a thing where they're thankful for some of the things you're doing to where it's overkill. Because when you overkill give, what that feels like to a woman is that you're trying to essentially bribe her. You're trying to bribe her into making her feel things early on that she needs time realistically to develop those feelings. And so that's why if you're giving too much in the beginning, women can start to say, well, it feels like it's too much too soon. If you're smothering me, you're giving a whole lot. Because what they're telling you is their body's having a reaction to how much you're giving, and it's not pleasurable to them, okay? So recognizing women are saying that, they're not trying to insult you or put down your ability to give, but they are saying, hey, take it back a peg or two. This is more than enough. Like, your conversation for a woman is already gonna be more impactful to her than you having to give all these gifts or spend all this money. But when you start doing those things, it can really feel like a lot. Another reason that you don't want to overgive so much is because women will start to wonder if you have secret intentions. Because to them, they're thinking, this guy can't be this nice. This guy is really giving a lot of himself. This seems off balance. And when women start to feel things are off balance, their first thought's going to be, what is it that he wants from me in order to counterbalance how much he's giving? In other words, does he have secret intentions? Is he giving because he's secretly trying to get my money? Is he overgiving secretly because he really wants to have sex with me really, really soon so he can just get it over with and then leave me? She doesn't know. All she knows is that you're giving a lot. She didn't ask for it. And now, as you do it more and more and more, it goes from, oh, this is a nice thing, to like, wait, he's not stopping. Inevitably, it's that feeling of reciprocity. I always equate it to like when somebody delivers food to your home, they drove all the way out to where you live, to wasting their time, their gas, their car, whatever, just to be able to get you some food. You typically at that point feel obligated to give back something. And usually it's monetary because you figure if nothing else, I can give the poor guy a tip to be able to balance out the amount that he spent to come over here. Plus, I know this is the job for him and he gets paid mostly on tips. So I'll give the amount that I'm going to give him is in respect to how much I think this is going to balance out him bringing the food over to this apartment, okay? So women are having that same thought. So the more you give, the more they're thinking, crap, he's giving a lot. How much is he expecting me to give, and what is that thing I'm supposed to give him back? And if they're not all the way there with their feelings yet, it's going to err on the side of that's going to be a negative thing she's going to see about you, to where she's going to want to probably back away. Another thing is that the reasons behind overgiving, i.e. the need for acceptance, can result in a really bad reaction when you feel you're not getting the reception you want. And I used to have this problem whereby, again, I would give and give and give and give, and women would actually want to pay me back or do something to say, hey, you're giving a lot, I want to give in return, and I'd be returning it away. But then I'd feel bad later on when I'd actually want some reciprocity and I wouldn't get it. And I'd be really mad and upset about it. And these women are just all trying to use me and blah, 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 blah. But I had to stop myself and think, okay, but wait, really? None of these women ask you to do all the stuff you're doing. So why do you feel bad? And honestly, it was because I was overgiving in part because I wanted to be accepted by them. But at the point that they rejected me because I wasn't recognizing that I was doing too much, it made my feelings get hurt. And it made me feel like, why did I do all that stuff? They should have stuck around because what? Because now I was doing stuff to try to get something from them and get feelings from them that they weren't yet ready to give. All right. And then lastly, another really big reason that you don't want to be an overgiver is because you risk dating women who only want to take from you. There are women out there who will take advantage of your kind nature, and they'll recognize that you don't recognize that overgiving is a bad thing, and they'll come in and say, how much can I get this guy to give me? And if you've ever heard those stories of those guys that, like, you know, they joined OnlyFans or they went to strip clubs and they gave women like tons and tons and tons of money, and then at the end of it, when she doesn't want to get with him, he's like, well, what? How could you? She used me, and I thought all this money represented we're having a relationship and all this other stuff. And the women will be sitting there like, dude, you gave me the money. I didn't ask you for it. You gave it to me, so I just kept taking it. Like, is it my job to stop you from doing that? Like, I never promised you a relationship. And that is absolutely a true thing. But like I said, women will come into that situation, recognize that, and say, I'm going to take. And they can do that. And you can't be mad when a woman comes into the situation seeing as you are, the kind of guy that you are, and then be like, but she knows not to treat me bad, right? Because some women won't. Some women look for guys that are the overgivers specifically to take. And I know you're thinking, but I like giving and I feel good when I do that. You're not going to feel good later on, though, when you realize that she doesn't actually want to be with you, but you were overgiving because of fear. and because you were trying to be accepted, okay? So recognize women that are kind, caring, have their wits about them, and ultimately want to treat men the right way, they're not going to need a lot from you. And I think sometimes guys use overgiving as a mask of, well, I don't know how to show off my personality in the way that women are going to want to stick around, so I'll just use my resources to do that. And what I'm telling you is that women are seeing that, and good women, high quality women that see a guy like you, that if you're doing that, are going to say, you know what, I don't want to put him in that position, but I think he'd probably be a great guy if he wasn't trying to bribe me all the time. Most of the time, if you have decent conversation with women, are willing to actually listen to them, are able to honestly like put it down in the bedroom pretty good, and are showing signs of loyalty, most women want that. Is the financial aspect important? Yes. Is the being able to give to her important on some level? Yes, but not at these heightened levels to where you have to give so much of yourself that it's going to tire you out. It's going to make her be apprehensive, and it's going to ultimately not get you the results that you want, okay? So if that's a problem that you're having, really stop to think about why it is that you overgive so much, and then look for ways to curtail that. One of the things that I had to do early on, well, later on rather, because I was dating horribly in the beginning, and then there was a point where I started thinking, okay, you know what? Let me turn this train around. Let me just really focus on just like for the first 3 months, women are observing me and trying to see if they want to be with me. Let me spend the first 3 months just doing normal date stuff. Going on dates, repeat, pay, occasionally go to their house to hang out. We'll hook up a few times here and there, focus on conversation and talking, but let me not buy any flowers. Let me not do any over extravagant dates like vacations, like 5-star restaurants, like hotel stays. Like, let me not do any of the stuff that I feel like I want to do, and see if I'm able to still get women to want to stick around. And you know what I found? Is that when I stopped doing that kind of stuff, I was able to meet women that were more genuine and that actually wanted to stick around and be with me because of the great guy that I was, and not because of the stuff that I was able to give them. But you got to test that out. If you go back to the whole thing about fear, there could be a fear you have right now of, but if I stop giving all this stuff, women aren't going to like me. But you have to fight through that. You have to be willing to try new things. If the results you're getting now, based on the things that you're doing, aren't getting you the results that you want, then that simply means it is now time to try a new thing. And that new thing for you very well could be, let me just not give so much of myself that I'm making her feel weird, I'm feeling some kind of way later on when I don't get what I want, and it's not working out for anybody, all right? So that is my suggestion to you. Now, if you need help on how to do that, I offer one-on-one coaching at my website, introvertdatingsuccess.com. You can go there, set up a one-on-one coaching appointment, and we can talk about any kind of dating situations you're having or problems you're having as it pertains to the way you're going about dating, the kind of women that you're meeting, or how you can stop doing these bad habits that are affecting your dating life in an effective, efficient way. All right. Once again, that's introvertdatingsuccess.com. Click on the coaching tab, and I'll be able to help you and assist you with that. If you found the info in this episode to be helpful, please show your support by clicking on the tip jar tab, the link of which can be found at the website and in the description below. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, and comment on this episode, and catch new episodes right here on YouTube or wherever podcasts can be found. In the meantime, be sure to check out these other episodes so you too can learn to date as your introverted self while still getting your precious alone time. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.